Hi there, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today on our episode of Life is in Your Hands. I'm Cynthia Clark, and I'm a palm reading consultant and relationship expert. And this podcast is all about helping you with your taking charge of your life. And so I like to bring different guests onto the show who can help us to do that. And I have a very special guest today. I'm really excited to talk about this because I'm super passionate about this topic. And it is Spencer Weiss, who is out of Los Angeles, California. And he is the creator of Animated Fitness. And he also has a master's in psychology. So some very interesting background that you've got. And I'm so excited to talk to you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
So Spencer, tell us about you and how did you get, what is this that you've created and tell us all about it.
So essentially what I've done is I've taken all the things that I've learned over the years, just my life. I grew up in Los Angeles, just born and raised in LA. So I've got that city kind of lifestyle mentality where everything's moving a lot faster than it would in other parts of the country. So growing up, I was overweight and I was constantly getting pulled in different directions and going to school and trying to figure out, what I was going to do with my future, all that stuff. And then I realized one day that in order to lose weight, I would have to kind of slow things down because the way my mind works is if I want to do something, I do it. And if I don't want to do something, I don't want to do it. So what I had to do was I had to slow myself down to where I could figure out what I wanted to do, but in a easier way for me. So in order to lose weight, I didn't stop doing what I like doing, which is watching TV, playing video games, eating food. I started doing those things while working out. So finding ways to use my body.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
Yeah. So essentially that's what I do now. I went to school. I got my master's in psychology. I became a personal trainer. I got some certifications in that. I'm a registered behavior technician. So I really like how not only the body works, but the mind. And now that I'm older, I kind of realized that it's all one universal thing, that it's not just what you eat. It's not just how you work out. It's not just how you think, it's all those things combined, and relationships, and you being a relationship expert. I mean, it's all about how you relate to yourself and how you relate to others.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And
yeah,
I do a lot of study also with quantum physics.
Really?
And yeah, so I mean, this is right up my alley. I love this. How we come from kind of a mechanistic viewpoint of we separate out everything. And that's actually not the way to do it because it all needs to come back together. And we are a whole person and a whole,
yeah, exactly.
Everything connects. So,
yeah. I mean, the relationship you have with other people is oftentimes you kind of treat it how you have the relationship with yourself. So if if you're open to yourself, you can be open to others. If you're closed to yourself, you're usually closed to others. So you're right. It's all one thing. Yeah.
So if people are struggling with their weight, do you recommend, where do you recommend that they start?
So the first thing is, ironically, I'm going to say you should separate them. But the first thing, the way to look at it, for me at least, when I lost weight, was to figure out why my body was gaining the weight first. So I wanted to figure out why my body was gaining weight. And the body gains weight because if you have more calories, if you take in more calories than you use, you gain that weight. So that is just added to your body. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I would do is focus on, eating less calories. Obviously that's hard if you're constantly eating food like I was, because it's kind of what you do. You just sit there and you eat food sometimes, and it kind of gets out of hand, and we're humans and we're designed to, eat food. That's what we're good at.
Definitely. So, I love to eat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, I love breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between. Why not?
Well, and my job before this one was owning a restaurant.
Oh, wow.
So
So
I have years and years of experience with food.
yeah, that's a, what kind of restaurant was it?
Well, it was outside of Zion National Park in southern Utah.
Wow.
And I ran it for 7 years with my ex-husband, and we did breakfast and lunch, quick service, sandwiches and things like that. And then we also did smoothies and coffee and ice cream and things.
Oh, okay. So
You
you
know,
knew, yeah. I mean, those are all great. Yeah, breakfast and smoothies and ice cream sounds like a winning. Yeah, who doesn't want to eat that? That's what I'm saying. There's too many good things to eat. So
yes.
yeah. So what I did was, in order to lose weight, I was like, you know what? There's foods that I like. There's foods that I can live without. But the one thing is I was eating is I was never full, right? So a lot of people overeat because they just can't get themselves full because they're nervous or their mind won't slow down or whatever. So I started just eating a bunch of vegetables. So that's how I controlled the calories that I took in, right? So I load up on vegetables. My fridge just has like a whole plate full of just raw veggies in water, and I just eat that throughout the day. So I
That's like a
fill
good.
up my stomach. Yeah, because I still overeat. I do. Like, I can admit that. But now I overeat on carrots and radishes and not, ice cream.
Now, is it bad if we do the like the dressings with?
So the dressings, it's all relative, right? So if you're if you have like a soup, of ranch and you're throwing carrots in it, obviously, yeah. But most of the time, it's plus that's liquid, right? So liquid's easier for your body to digest than like a solid food. So if you're
Right.
overeating like solid calories, your body has a harder time breaking it down. So liquid, it breaks it down a little easier, so it's easier to burn off. So yeah, I mean, I dip my stuff in ranch. Hummus is really good. Salsa is really good. Hot sauce is really good because that kind of gives you a stimulation of I'm eating food, and it kind of satiates hunger a little more because you're focusing on another part of your brain. So something else is getting activated, so you're distracting yourself. But essentially, yeah, going back to the losing weight, I do calories first. That's the first thing I do. And then it's what else am I doing with my body that's not making me use the calories that I should be using, right?
Okay, so we need to move our body more.
Exactly. And it's moving it not in the traditional sense. So it's not like getting up and running, a lap around the block or running 5 miles on a treadmill or doing whatever, doing 100 sit-ups, any of that stuff.
Because a lot of people hate that.
Yeah, I hate it too. Like honestly, I can play basketball or soccer for 3 hours and I won't get tired because I'm playing a game. I'm distracting my body from like the physical sensation of being tired. But if I go on the treadmill, I'm done in 5 minutes because
Okay,
it's boring.
sure.
So what I do is I focus on movements that I'm already doing and how to do them differently and how to do them differently every day. So
Okay,
let's say I'm watching TV, right?
okay.
Most people watch TV, they sit down.
Yes,
If I'm going to watch TV, I will either be on a Bosu ball. You know what a Bosu ball is?
yes.
Yeah.
They're
So
so
that's my
much fun. I love those.
that's literally my favorite workout. If I could have one item in my apartment to work out with, that would be it. The Bosu ball.
Yeah, so some people may not know what that is though. So why don't
So,
you
okay,
explain?
so it's like a giant fitness bouncy ball, one of those big bouncy balls, but it's cut in half. And so you have that bouncy kind of hemisphere on one side, and then on the other side, it's a flat, hard plastic surface. So you can either put the ball on the ball side and you stand on the flat surface and you have to balance to stay on, or you flip it the other way around and then you have to stand on the ball side and it's more of like an ankle workout and dexterity and kind of your feet and your calves.
Yes,
So
it's
that's
so
a
much fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And so what I like to do is I like to stand on that while I watch TV or
Oh,
while I play video games or do
that's a
whatever I like to
great
do.
idea. That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah. So there's one right there. There's another one if I'm sitting down and I'm watching TV because sometimes I just don't want to balance because your legs get fatigued or you've had like a long day. I take a fitness band of like medium resistance and I put it right around my knees. And
Mhm.
so then while I'm sitting, I'm getting like a workout, just keep my legs like open. Right.
Wow.
So
You're
that's another one.
you're inspiring me as I'm
Yeah,
sitting at my desk. I'm like, I could
exactly.
be doing something right now.
Exactly. Like I'm in a rolling chair right now and I'm rolling back and forth.
Okay.
Right. because I'm doing a podcast, so like I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time, like I'm using that energy to kind of do something else, you know?
Right. So so people can understand it doesn't have to be like a big, I got to set up a workout.
Exactly. And that's the one thing I love gyms, because they're good, because they're, for a lot of people, gyms are a good place for people to go and relate to other people who are also trying to lose weight or work out or get in shape or do whatever.
Right.
It takes a lot of time, right? Like if you want to get in the car, you got to go to the gym.
The commitment.
Exactly. And no one wants to find time to work out, because why would you want to work out if working out isn't fun? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you want to do, especially if you work during the day and you have other things that you're doing and you're running around. And I mean, I don't have kids, but if you have kids, that's a whole nother element to your day. And that's just, no one really has time for it if you want to not be bored. And some people, like myself, I get bored doing workouts, going to the gym and doing that. So I like to do it as little thinking or preparation as possible in order to work out. Because if I make it too difficult, then I'm never going to do it. But if it's really easy and simple, I'll do it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you help your clients just kind of gauge like how much activity they have in a day, or do you?
Pretty much. The ultimate goal, that's good at first. So I like to start out with that, is having them see like, okay, how often are you moving in a day? Notice your behaviors. It depends where their fitness is, you know, if they have. So I do a work with Parkinson's a lot. I do a group. I started doing a group boxing class for, I think 65 and up for Parkinson's boxing. Now I've started doing, individual clients. And the big thing is I got to figure out where, or they have to figure, we both have to figure out where they're not moving and what, you know, where they're stagnating in order for, you know, it to progress, or, you know, anything like that, where they're not using their body. But eventually what I'd like to do for someone is get them to be aware of their own body constantly. So kind of getting them self-aware of if they're holding tension in their body somewhere, where are they holding it? If they're sitting in their car, a big one is people's driving in their car, right? And
especially in LA.
Exactly. So people in LA are constantly sitting in their cars, right? And we don't have a steering wheel in the middle of the car. It's on, you know, it's on the left side, and in England, it's on the right side.
Yeah.
So for people that are constantly, I see all the time, I see people who have their shoulder blades, so your scapula back here. A lot of people have the left one sticking out more, just more pronounced, and sticking out because you hold your steering wheel with the left arm.
Okay.
So it's like a big one I notice. So that would be something where I want someone to notice, okay, if you're thinking about that now, maybe now that I've told you that you're using your left arm, maybe now you'll use your right, you know?
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Exactly. So if I'm saying, if someone's sitting at their TV or sitting at their desk all day working, I can say to them, you know, hey, look, you're sitting, you're slouching, you're doing this. Think of, instead of trying to sit up straight, try and think of trying to touch your head to the ceiling. You know, pretend that your head's a balloon and you're trying to touch it to the ceiling.
So it's just a whole new way of thinking.
Yes.
And it's about taking like your subconscious little mannerisms and kind of changing them up a little bit.
Exactly.
You know, and from what I understand about mindfulness and how neurons and the brain works, that's actually a really good thing to do.
Yep.
Because it'll fire new neurons in your
Yep.
It'll actually make you sharper, and it'll 100%. Make you think better. It'll make you more creative. It'll like it does. There's like, I can see like this domino effect of like positive things that can happen in your life just from doing that.
Yeah, exactly. 100. That's 100% correct. Yeah, that's exactly what I try and do.
Wow. So I mean, this is really good for people to think about, because I mean, it's just the little things, you know, like even brushing your teeth. It's like try brushing with your opposite hand.
Exactly. Brushing your teeth is a huge one. You know, doing it with your opposite hand. If you lean down to drink out of the sink, turn your head the other way, which trips a lot of people out at first, because you're so used to going one way if you're one hand dominant. Right. Going the other way, almost the first time I did it, I almost like fell over in the sink, because the vestibular system isn't used to going that direction. So
Yes.
it's new things inside your cochlea, it's new things inside your motor strip in your brain that's firing off new neurons. And like you're saying, it's all strand theory, right? So it teaches the brain how to make new connections. And from those new connections, you make even more new connections.
Right.
And then
Exactly.
even your reflexes get a little better. Like since I've been doing this, I feel like my reflexes have like even gotten better because my muscles are more used to doing things in awkward motions now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's neat.
It's really, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I think the human body is kind of like a potato where it's a special thing, but at the same time, it's kind of universal. Like the body, unless you have like a physiological, something's different, most people's bodies are pretty the same. Muscles, they contract, they're made out of the same material.
Yes.
So if I do one thing to my body, odds are it's going to feel relatively similar and use the same muscle group as someone else in their body. So that's another big thing I like to do is try moving in a different way. Like when you're walking, try landing on a different part of your foot when you're walking.
Hmm. That's why I love skiing so much. I got to
Yeah.
bring my favorite sport in the world is because you are constantly having to readjust your body in little tiny minute ways, pretty much every second of the run.
Exactly.
And so I live here in Aspen, Colorado, and we've had tons of snow this week. It's been an amazing winter, but I skied in a whiteout yesterday, and it was like total blizzard. Okay. And a lot of people hate skiing in blizzards because they're like, well, I can't see.
Yeah, because
It's like, I know you can't see, but you don't need to see. You just need to feel.
that's true.
It's like you need to just do your turns, and it actually makes you a better skier if you can ski in a blizzard.
I'm
Then
sure.
when you can actually see, it's like, wow, okay, then I can just, like, this is a piece of cake.
Exactly.
But it's interesting. Like, I love skiing in blizzards because it's like it makes me sharper, and I feel like, yeah, I got to rely on some other senses besides my sight.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
yeah, it can be a little dangerous. But if you're a good skier,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah, dangerous is dangerous. It's as dangerous as you make it to be.
Exactly.
That's how it is. And if you're good, then you can control it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's why I love skiing so much. Is there's just that dynamic energy about it. But you can't do it year round unless you of course go to South America or something.
Different parts of the world.
So part of the year I have to do other things.
Mm-hmm. So besides like skiing, what else what's your next favorite activity, like physical activity?
Well, I do HIIT classes at the rec center.
Okay. Nice.
And that's why I love the BOSU, because man, I'm telling you, we do probably 10 or 20 exercises with that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all different, and they're all just so much fun.
Exactly. Yeah. The BOSU is almost it's like a game almost.
It is like a game. Because
it's a ball, right? So like from childhood, we're brought up that like a ball is like this playtime thing.
Yeah.
So immediately, what's funny? My first class I did for my Parkinson's group, I went in there and I was really nervous because it was my first group class for boxing, and I don't have really a background in boxing. My background is just everywhere. It's scattered around.
Yeah.
So I went in there and this was like 2.5 years ago. So I was 28, and I have all these older people, and they're intelligent people, and they're all coming there because they want to get better. So I have all this like pressure, and I'm thinking of like, what are the things I'm going to do with them? What am I going to say? They're all so much older than me. They're used to a single trainer, and I'm brand new. So I'm sitting there, and I got there about 10 minutes early, and I'm playing with this little mini football, like just tiny little football. And I just have it in my bag, and I'm just like thinking in my head, like, okay, what am I going to do with this class? There's like 10 of them, and I'm holding it, and one of them looks at me, and he puts up his hands like this. And so I was like, oh, okay. I threw him the ball. So he caught it. It was a good catch, and he threw it back, and he threw a good pass. And I was like, oh, wow, he's got a good arm for being 70 and having Parkinson's.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, so I threw it back to him again, and I'm like still thinking in my head, because I'm just used to throwing a football. So I'm thinking in my head, like, what am I going to do? He threw it back to me. So I threw him another pass. It was like the fourth pass, and then someone else raised their hand, right? Someone else in the class raised their hand, and he threw it to them. He threw it back to me, and then I threw it back to the original guy I was throwing it with. All of a sudden, now I have 10 people above like 65, 70 just throwing a football around in the middle of this gym. And it's there, and they literally said, this is the most fun we've had in a class in forever. Like, this is the most fun. And we haven't even started the class yet.
Wow.
And they're playing with this little ball. They're playing with a mini football for like little kids.
Yeah.
And like, that was a huge eye opener. I was like, wow, it's just people like to play, no matter what you're here for.
Yes.
They just like to play.
Yeah. So make it playful.
Exactly. And that's why, I mean, that's kind of where I came up with the name for Animated Fitness. Is it should be fitness, but it should be lively. It shouldn't be dull. It shouldn't be boring. It should be something you want to do. Because then if you want to do it, you'll do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the whole concept. This has been so much fun talking to you.
Thank you. This has been great. This is amazing.
Yeah, I love this. Okay, so if people want to work with you and they don't live in LA, is there a way to work with you?
That's a very, very good question. That is a very good question. You know what? I mean, right now I'm working on writing down all the things that I do for myself and putting that into a book and like putting that out, but that's down the line.
Yeah.
At the moment, no, plainly simple. But now that you've made me aware of that idea and that concept, that might be something that I do down the line, actually. Because one of the things I do right now is I go into people's daily lives. Like, they hire me and I follow them, or not follow them. That sounds odd. I go with them on their activity. So like in the morning, I'll, be with them from like 8 until 11, and I'll observe what they're doing, and I'll tell them different ways that I think they could get an exercise. So there's possibility in the future for being able to do that through something like this, like Zoom, and just do a FaceTime video and kind of see, behaviors and patterns.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So
if they want to contact me, then, that is also another way.
Yes. Okay. So great. So how, if people are interested, how do they reach you?
So they can go to animatedfitness.com. They can email me at spencer@animatedfitness.com. Can look at my LinkedIn profile, Spencer Weiss. And you can give me a call at 323-673-8008.
Okay.
That about covers the bases.
Okay. Well, is there anything else wrapping up that you want to share with people that we haven't talked about?
No, not really. That I appreciate it. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. This has been great. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate having you on and learning from you. And I think we got some great tips for people to get out there and try.
Yeah. You gave me some great stuff too. So, thank you. This was helpful for me too. I'm very glad your work is great, and you know what you're talking about. Everything you said, I agree with 100%. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And for all of you listeners out there, if you liked this episode, please, please, please subscribe to our podcast, and please share it with other people that you know. And also, if you have any questions or things that you want to learn about in a future episode, please let me know that as well. And my goal is to get the value out to you guys. So thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to connecting with you again in a very near future podcast episode. So have a great day.